Literally right there, right in front of us is North Korea.
Hey Law Winners, this is Loudy6 here with another video. Believe it or not, I am actually in America right now, and it is snowing and it's freezing cold outside, so I decided to shoot this video inside. I'm back home visiting family, and I'm gonna do a lot of cool videos with Vivi and all that kind of goodness, so get ready for those. But I have to announce something that's super important and super special to me, and hopefully for you guys as well. Now in August, I actually finished the greatest adventure that I ever had in my entire life, and that is conquering northern China. But it didn't start there. It actually started way back when there was only a couple hundred of you guys on the channel, as well as my buddy Winston's channel, that we decided to come together and actually meet up. And riding around China is just not something that most people decide to do because it is pretty hectic and dangerous. And believe me, as a 30-something-year-old, if I had started in China at this age, I don't know if I would have gotten on a bike back then. Those are kind of the more reckless times. But anyway, actually, I noticed there was like a little video series that my buddy Winston actually put out, and he found a Chinese motorcycle for about $50. It was just a rusty heap, and he turned it into something pretty cool. So I was really intrigued by this, and I had already been riding motorcycles around China. So we actually came together and we put together this huge announcement, this huge challenge for everyone around the world to find the cheapest, crappiest motorcycle and to turn it into the fastest, coolest, most amazing bike you could on a budget, and actually no one joined. Believe it or not, we're the only people that ended up doing it, but because of that, we ended up forming our own company. We put together this thing called Churchill Customs, where we rented a storage space and actually started building motorcycles for customers. But what happened was, over these years, was we decided we're not actually riding. This is kind of insane. Like, we keep building bikes, we have no time. We're waking up 5-6 a.m. every day building motorcycles for people, but we have no time to ride and take the adventures that we used to love to have. And it was funny, this documentary team came down from Beijing to actually film him in our shop. And Rick, that's where we met Rick and Mark, our production team. So we became super good friends, we hit it off. And it was almost like this split decision that we decided, let's all quit our jobs and just go film a movie, go film a documentary. And we took our custom bikes that we had spent years perfecting pretty much, and Rick and Mark followed us around as we rode 5,000 kilometers through all of the south of China. And our goal was not to be like the travel documentaries that you'd see on PBS or the kind of stuff you kind of see on the news and all that. We wanted to kind of show people the China that we always see when we get out on motorcycles. Now, the documentary wasn't about motorcycles, it was about adventure and actually meeting people and showing people something different, something that they've never seen before, maybe if they had watched other things about China. So we self-funded this, and it cost a lot of money and it took a lot of time, and we've lost our jobs and everything was completely reset in our lives because we believed in this a lot. And thank goodness, after we released it, the reviews poured in from IMDb, from all kinds of magazines, from left and right, and most importantly from you guys that actually kind of backed us and pushed us to actually do this. And the response that we got after we made this, just with 4 guys, you know, with no help, it was amazing. And we felt so pumped and enthused to keep going, because when you read things like this every day, you actually think this kind of little project, your first time on camera in terms of, you know, TV scale stuff, is not going to come out very well. When you read the comments, when you see the feedback, it completely inspires you to keep going. So what we did the second time around, in order to not go completely broke like the first time, was we actually put out a Kickstarter, and we hit that goal in like 10% of the time that we allotted. It was insane. So we decided to go all in. Last time it was only about 2 or 3 weeks on the road. This time it was over 40 days, and we went 10,000 kilometers this time to cover twice the distance and put out twice as long episodes, so we could cover a lot more ground and meet a lot more people and do a lot more stuff. And it turned out to be a fantastic idea. And I'm proud to say today to you guys, if you didn't know already, if you didn't follow my other social media, Conquering Northern China is live right now on Vimeo On Demand, and it is awesome. I have watched it way too many times. I should be editing videos for you guys, but I can't stop watching the show. And it's not just because I'm in it, it's actually, I think, personally, one of the best shot and produced things I've ever seen about China. And if you have any passing interest in travel or adventure, I recommend that you go see it. Now, the show actually takes place where we get off the airplane in Qingdao, China, and we uncrate our bike. So we start all the way down in Qingdao, which is China's home of beer. And we actually drink beer out of a bag, which is a tradition up there, and see all the German influence that kind of happened up there, and also eat I will say, definitely the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life. From there, we headed through the beautiful Shandong province, where we ended up going to this village that was pretty much untouched by the outside world, where we went oyster fishing, and we also saw this village where they actually made the house construction and the roofing out of seaweed. From there, we head up to the North Korean border, and for those that don't know, China shares this really, really long border with North Korea. It's actually the biggest border shared with North Korea. So we were up there at a very, very tense time. There was actually 150,000 Chinese troops lying along the border, just in case the North Korean regime fell and they poured on through into China. So it was a very, very difficult time and a very tense time to be up there. And let me tell you, we did not sleep very well up there, and you have to check out the show to actually see what happens. But perhaps the most interesting part of that whole region was we found out that even while being in China around the North Korean border, we met so many people, and actually the majority of people that live there are Koreans that identify as both North Korean and Chinese. So we learned all about their culture and found out that they really don't integrate into normal Chinese Han society. So that was super cool to see. After thousands and thousands of kilometers, we ended up in Inner Mongolia, which is probably my favorite province in China. And we rode across these sweeping rolling grasslands. It was the most remarkable thing you've ever seen. We actually got lost up there. No cell phone signal, no humanity, no villages, no one to help us out. Huge thunderstorm rolling in, and we actually had to help this beautiful Mongolian tribe that, by the way, didn't speak a lick of Chinese, find their wild camels so that they could herd them in and eventually catch them. So me and Winston actually did that on our motorcycles. It was pretty scary, but it was also majestic and fantastic at the same time. Mongolia didn't stop there. It's a massive province, so we ended up finding out how to catch wild baby horses so we could bring them into the corral on this kind of Mongolian pasture. And we found out how they use horse milk to make horse milk products. Inner Mongolia was full of surprises. We actually learned how to use the ancient method of cooking a goat within itself. And that is something that you absolutely have to see to believe. I really didn't know how they were going to go about this. Also, in the northern regions of Inner Mongolia, we found out that there's actually reindeer herders. They have a lot more in common with Eskimos than they would with Chinese people. And we ran into a lot of drama and crazy stuff in that province in general, but perhaps the most unique part of the trip was when we headed up all the way to the most northern point of China on the border with Russia, where we met these Russian people that ended up on the wrong side of the border. I'm talking about like Caucasian white Russian people that ended up on the wrong side of the border when the Soviet Union agreed with Chairman Mao in China to kind of make this border arbitrarily along the kind of more wilderness areas of northern China. So these people ended up in China, and they ended up having to integrate and become Chinese. So they now have Chinese passports and IDs and all this kind of stuff, and are slowly kind of losing their Russian culture. But we managed to track down some of these people, and we met some of the most gracious and wonderful hosts of the entire trip, and I'll never, never forget it. Needless to say, I'm super proud of what the team as a unit has been able to accomplish with your support and your backing. This was all able to happen, and we are so looking forward to what you guys think about this show. For those of you not interested in motorcycles, the show is not about motorcycles. It's just the most convenient and raw way for us to kind of uncover this country. So the show is about adventure, friendships, hardships, and most of all, just trying to uncover a part of China that most people will probably never see. If you haven't seen either season, I promise you, you won't regret it. If you want to use a discount code, you can actually use the code LAOWINNING. Just type that in on Vimeo On Demand, you'll get a discount. You can have the choice to rent the show, or you can buy the show, or you can download it and play it whenever or wherever you want to do so. Also, a big announcement, there is a premiere in Los Angeles on January 13th. It is at 7 p.m. and it's at the Independent Theater. I have instructions here if you want to get tickets. They're $14 each, and I'm pretty sure they'll sell out pretty quickly. So if you're in the area, or if it's convenient for you to get down there, we're going to be premiering the show, and we'll also have a live Q&A at the end of the screening, so you can ask us all kinds of questions, and we'll be there, and hopefully it'll be an awesome time. I can't wait to see you guys there. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, LAO winners. Thank you for everyone that made this happen. I really hope you guys get a chance to check out the show. I promise you won't regret it. I want to say thank you so much, and I'll catch you on the next one.